Hey there, friends. Welcome back to another Legally Armed America video. I'm, of course, Paul Glasgow here, the one and only truth pimp dealing you a vulgar display of logic and reason on a daily basis. Not a lot of logic and reason that you're going to get from me today because we're going to have a little bit of fun today. We're going to dial it back a little bit. You know, we were at Goals last week, and one of the questions of the panelists, and to me, I thought it was an awesome panel, one of the only panels that wasn't streamed, I don't know. But to me, each one of the panelists up there were some of the best at what they do, right? And one of the questions that was posed to the panel was, what's the last video you did where you had a lot of fun? Now, I enjoy what I do. I have a lot of fun when I do this. But not a whole lot of my stuff is going to make you crack a smile. Now, I know I try to keep it light by throwing things in there that will make you laugh and make you kind of chuckle because I have a very dark sense of humor. But the video content in general is not usually a chuckle fest. Well, a couple of weeks ago, I decided to put out a number. That number is 202-869-2527, where you guys can text me, comments, anything you want to, or you can leave me a voicemail. Now, I'm not going to answer the phone, so if you're calling expecting to have a little chit-chat with me, that's not going to happen. It's a number that just logs voicemails and receive text messages. So I thought what I would do is try to have a little bit of fun because you guys commented so much, and believe me, these aren't all the text messages and voicemails. I got a lot. I picked through some of these just to share them with you, and we're going to call this particular type of episode the Vulgar Voicemails and Texticles because I want to have a little bit of fun with it. And you guys, I want to encourage you going forward to keep them coming. Keep them coming. I'd like to dial in at least one day a week where we put this out there and keep it somewhat light. Now, I don't care if you want to be critical in your voicemail or your text, but nevertheless, I think overall, this video once a week will lighten things up a little bit and not be so doom and gloom because the world we live in is a little bit crazy, so there's not a ton of good news out there. In fact, when you're exposing evil and dirtbags and things like that, it's not always a chuckle fest. So let's get right into it. If you guys included your names, I'm going to keep them in here, but in the future, if you don't want your names on the text messages or in the voicemails, don't say them, don't type them. In this case, I want to give you guys kudos for reaching out. Again, a little bit of vulgar voicemails and texticles. Here we go. Love watching your show and love the content you put out there to watch. Keep up the good fight. This is from Joe Flickcraft. Thank you, Joe. I appreciate it. I make the videos because you guys watch the videos, so thank you very much for that. The next one is a little bit longer than that. Dear Paul, Rick Nichols, Moscow, Ohio, 22 miles east of where the beating took place. This is the Cincinnati beatings, by the way. This one was somewhat of a hot topic because a few of you guys, actually several of you, commented on this. So this is another one in reference to that. I was supposed to visit a friend who's in the hospital maybe a mile from where the beating took place. My friend in the hospital called me and told me not to come. I spent 12 years as a cop, not in Cincinnati, but in the surrounding area. The police chief made me ashamed that I'd ever worn a badge. I've literally walked the streets of Cincinnati at 2 a.m. on any day of the week. Cincinnati hasn't always been like this. When I moved to Cincinnati, I instantly fell in love with it. I still love it. It was a warm, friendly, welcoming town. Since the liberals have taken over, it's going downhill. It's impossible to do the job when you know that you are going to catch hell for doing the job. I got hurt and I had to get out. Car accidents. Turned out to be the best thing that ever happened to me. I became an electrician and made more money without the stress and drama. Now I'm retired from that and I'm out in the country. Today I'm ashamed of my chosen hometown. Today both me and my wife carry everywhere we go. We train at least twice a month. I don't ever want to have to defend us, but I can and will if I have to. I don't know what else to say. I'm just ashamed. Rick Nichols, Moscow, Ohio. Rick, I feel your pain. I mean, I think a lot of us, especially who are a little bit longer in the tooth, have seen how the world in general, but society, has just, it's decayed. You have lack of respect, and I think that's probably the core of where a lot of it is. When people don't respect other people, the byproduct of that is what we see in society nowadays, right? Rudeness, people beating each other, people not afraid to be straightened out. So I think it all starts with respect. And of course, respect in many cases, I know in my case, I can't speak for everybody, was taught to me. My parents never had to tell me, hey, Paul, I'm going to teach you respect today. I knew by watching them and by seeing how they handled themselves, I learned from that. My dad never told me you hold a door for women, for your mom, for your wife. My dad never taught me that. I watched my dad do that. I learned that it's a respectful thing to do to open the door for whom, and this might be from anybody else. You walk up to a convenience store, you open the door for anybody. It could be anybody, wanting to walk in. If I get there first and there's somebody behind me, I'm typically going to hold that door open and let them go in first. It's just a sign of respect. Again, I don't think there's a textbook for respect. I think in many cases, it's kind of an osmosis thing. You absorb it and you learn it from your parents and from other people, mentors, other very respectful people, maybe uncles, grandparents, something like that. But I think that's the biggest thing. There's not a good role model anymore. So that next generation, and I'm not giving them a pass and saying that it's not partially on them, but let's face it, if you don't have that role model and nobody's teaching you that, you just do dumb stuff. Now, I will say this. I say this all the time, and this is not a knock at anybody reading a Bible, so don't take this the wrong way. But I don't need a Bible to teach me the right thing to do. I don't need a textbook to teach me how to be respectful. I think these are things that feel right and feel good. So that's another thing that's a little bit disappointing. That seems like more current, recent generations have forgotten that it's a feeling, and you shouldn't have to be told or shown to do things a certain way. Again, I was fortunate enough to have parents that I could mimic and follow, and that's how I learned to be respectful. But I truly believe that I didn't need that, because at my core, I understand be respectful, right? So appreciate that. Thank you so much, Rick. I appreciate the comment. Next one is from Miko in Maine. Your podcast is one of the few that hits dead center every single time. Yours is one of my absolute favorite and essential sources for current events. Keep up the great work. Miko, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Again, as I stated earlier, if you guys don't watch, we don't make the videos. But it means a lot to me when I get this kind of feedback, because sometimes you wonder if what you're putting out there is being received the way you expect it to. And I don't try to be disrespectful to anybody, but at the same time, I think that we're living in an age where people want to candy coat things so much that sometimes you can soften something up so much that the message just doesn't get through. And that's one thing that I do pride myself on. And I purposely try not to candy coat things, because I feel like that message is going to get lost out there. So again, Miko, appreciate your comment. And from Maine, of all places, very sorry what's happening to your state. It is getting really, really blue, and I hope you guys can hang on up there. Next up, I want to do a voicemail. And the voicemails are a little bit lengthier, but I want you to hear them anyway. Again, thanks to you guys who are sending out these voicemails. Here you go.
Good morning, Paul and Legally Armed American. Thank you so much for this opportunity to leave the show a message. I would comment on the public office, the lady that held public office in regards to the Cincinnati beatings. I always feel like those people, that they kind of have the grass is always greener on the other side of the fence syndrome, where if something like that were to happen to them, they would be, crying the blues all day long and just couldn't get enough help, and really probably be totally disappointed in society for the other reason, on the other side of the fence in that moment. Now, a lot of this stuff goes on, and it's all fun and games until it lands in their lap. So anyway, I guess that's my comment. And I see it a lot. I see it a lot in the workplace. I've noticed I'm an older guy, not that much older, but I'm older, and the younger people coming in, that seems to be, my experience has been a tendency that they have where it's basically always somebody else's fault or whatever. And then suddenly it's in their lap and they just can't get enough help. Anyway, hope all is well. I'll talk to you soon. Take care of yourself. God bless. Bye-bye.
Great comment. And that kind of, it really is part two of what I just said about the whole respect thing. It seems like in many cases, younger people today also struggle with dealing with any kind of something that's not going perfectly their way. You understand what I'm saying? If there's anything that does not happen that's totally predictable and totally in line with what the expectations are, it's like some of the young people today completely lose it. It's like they're so incapable of pivoting whenever they need to. Sometimes, and I'm not trying to be a life coach here, but sometimes you just have to pivot. I've pivoted my entire life. If I sat here and pissed and moaned about every single negative thing that's happened to me in my lifetime, I would be an absolute miserable wreck. And I feel like a lot of the young people today are looking for a reason to complain rather than saying, I need to just overcome that and get past that. But again, great comment. Appreciate that. Next up is another text Just finished watching your show. I was a mouse until 6 years ago when I met my husband, Scott. He introduced me to you and Johnny B. I no longer keep my mouth shut. I agree with so much that you have said and love the fact you break it down with facts. Whatever you do, don't stop. We need people to stand up against the lies, all the lies. My husband, son, and I watch you every night together. Thank you for what you do. Betty Sparks, Christian, wife, mom, white, RN, Trump-supporting, gun-toting Republican, trust no one, taking our country back, redneck. First of all, Betty, tell your husband, Scott, thank you for introducing you to me, and of course, Johnny B, for that matter. We see it a lot. I know I do, where there are people out there that are in a bubble, in a shell, and sometimes it's for various reasons. Sometimes it's because of either previous relationships or maybe status in a family, things like that, where people just aren't outspoken, or they're frowned upon for speaking out and speaking their piece. And sometimes it takes them getting away from that bubble before they realize I have a voice, and my voice is just as strong as everybody else's voice. And that's one thing that I certainly try to encourage on this channel, and hopefully I'm doing that by sharing this phone number and get you guys to call in with voicemails or text messages. It sounds like you've busted out of your bubble, and again, thank you to Scott for doing that for you. But I think that's strong, because the more of us who are on our side, who are outspoken, the more we can educate those who are possibly timid in that same kind of way, and help them bust out of their bubble. And those people, you'd be surprised, and probably like you, Betty, it may be a louder voice than our own. So sometimes we may be helping unsuppress that super loud, very vigilant voice out there that we need on our side. So kudos to Scott for helping you do that. Hopefully you're doing the same with friends and family members of your own. Next up, we got Jim from Somerville. Jim says, I'm from a little town of Pennsylvania called Fairview, right on Lake Erie. Just wanted to say, love your program. I watch and like it every day. Keep up the great content, brother. Appreciate it. P.S. I'm looking to get your book soon. Well, speaking of that, and again, thank you for that, Jim, you guys have a chance to get a copy of my book. What I'm doing today, and hopefully I'm going to be doing this on all of these vulgar voicemails and texticles readings, is I'm going to give stuff away. I got 3 things I'm going to give away today, and I'm going to tell you how to do it. First of all, let me tell you, hardcover my book. Whoever wins it, I'm going to sign the inside cover for you. Also, I have a Legally Armed America camo hat, trucker cap, with the leather patch on it. And then I have a Mission First Tactical Legally Armed America logoed 30-round magazine 5.56. So, this is what I need you guys to do. Those of you who want to enter to win that, this is going to be a very, very, very cavemanish type drawing. Nothing technical here. Nothing special that you have to do, but there are rules to it. First of all, you're watching this video. That's the first thing. Once you watch this, then you know that there's actually a giveaway. I need you to go to my website, legallyarmedamerica.com. Again, legallyarmedamerica.com. It will ask you to sign up for our newsletter. Our newsletter only goes out twice a week. On Mondays, we have one deal of the day. And on Thursdays or Fridays, we do like a full newsletter where we get you up to speed on what our videos for that week are and about 5 or so deals during that week. And we look for real deals. We don't look for somebody that slaps a for sale sign on something that's the regular price. No, we actually search out for actual deals, and we collect those and put them out for you, so you don't have to go scour the internet for those deals. You'll find that at legallyarmedamerica.com. Go sign up for that newsletter. Take a screenshot of that. Email me that screenshot. Email it to Paul at legallyarmedamerica.com. Again, Paul at legallyarmedamerica.com. Send me that screenshot so I know that you signed up for the newsletter. In return, you are entered. Again, nothing technical here. If you want another way to enter the same contest for the cap or the book, these are 3 different things I'm giving away, or the magazine. 3 people are going to win. That's what I'm saying. 3 different prizes. If you want another way, same thing. Go to X, Paul_of_LAA. Like, follow, whatever you want to call it over at X. Send me that same screenshot. That will give you another entry. You can do one or the other or both. Either way, you're going to get an entry to win one of these 3 things regardless. So, entry for signing up for the newsletter and or following me on X. So, next.
Hey, Paul. This is Wayne from Salarita, Arizona. I just want to give you a big thank you for what you do. I'm thankful and grateful that you are a truth pimp. I watch your videos every day. And I know you don't get a lot of thank yous, but for me and my family, I want to say thank you, God bless, and take care of your precious son. I love you, brother. Take care.
Couldn't really tell. I think that was Wayne or Lane at the beginning of it. First of all, thank you, Wayne or Lane. I think it's Wayne, by the way. I have a brother named Wayne. Thank you. And I'm glad to see. It's funny, I guess because I'm older, I don't expect younger people to watch, but so many people at Goals last weekend during the book signing came up to me and told me that they watch my daily videos with their family, with their youngsters. And that's just, I'm flattered with that, but I'm surprised at that. And I try to keep it somewhat clean. Sometimes I'll drop a 4-letter word, never an F-bomb or anything like that, but sometimes I'll drop, something colorful out there. So I do try to keep it clean so that you can watch it wherever. Even if you're at your desk at work, you're not going to have your boss scold you from somebody in the cubicle next door listening to something. I'm dropping F-bombs all day. But nevertheless, I don't do that necessarily to attract young people. However, I'm very grateful that a lot of you guys do that. It's encouraging to me that you are trying to teach your young people like we were taught, by modeling and showing them the right thing out there. So that's encouraging that you guys do that. So thank you again, Wayne. I appreciate that comment. Let's move on to another text. Yeah, brother, you're doing it right, honest and direct. Blessings in your endeavors. Jeremiah, Puerto Rico. That's why I included this one. This was kind of surprising to me. I wasn't aware that I had much of any audience out in Puerto Rico, but very flattered by that, Jeremiah. Appreciate the quick comment, and thank you so much for viewing and watching. Hey, make sure you enter that contest, Jeremiah. Don't know if I can ship a 30-round magazine to you. I don't know if I can or can't. I'm just saying I don't know. But if you do, in fact, win, you'll win one of these 3 things if you are one of the winners. So I'll check into Puerto Rico laws to see if a 30-round magazine could be shipped there. But I'm sure a book or a baseball cap could be shipped, so you still would be good to go even if the magazine is out of play for you. Next up, Joe from Western Pennsylvania. Dude, your channel is one of the very best on YouTube. Please keep standing your ground. First of all, thank you, Joe, for that. Now, real quick to the rest of you, I'm not cherry picking all of these positive ones. I think what's happening is because I hadn't run one of these shows, including you guys' feedback, text message, or voicemails yet. So I think that a lot of people are just kind of feeling it out, sending out compliments and things like that, because there was nothing negative, and a lot of people saying basically the same thing, thanking me for the content and all that. I'm fine with that. That's perfectly okay. Obviously, it's a little patting me on the back. It feels good sometimes. But at the same time, if you got something else to say, don't think that we're going to do this weekly and I'm just going to collect a bunch of these that say how great I am. I mean, I'm not that much of an egomaniac, but at the same time, I do appreciate those of you that did send a bunch of comments. I had a bunch of those. Not trying to be disrespectful, but I cannot read them all, so I did pick some of them so you guys would know, hey, I guess I'm sending this out to every one of you that sent something like that. Thank you. I appreciate the kind words. Always means a lot, and the fact that you guys are watching means a lot anyway. So let's move on to another voicemail.
Hey, Paul. Yeah, I don't know what to say. Bill from Wisconsin. Love your channel. Good deal. But it's all by design. Seriously. Years ago, we were good neighbors. Now it's hard to be neighbors with the other race, or whatever you want to call them. They're just people to me. I don't get it. Why can't we all get along? We used to. But in the last 8 years or so, things have changed. What's the reason? What happened? I don't know. Something to look into, I guess. All right. Have a good one. Bye.
Well, I think I can help that a little bit, and I don't take what he said as being a racist comment. He does mention something about race in there, and I do apologize for the quality. I try to clean a lot of these audio files up as best as I could so you could understand them, but I think I know what changed. The racial divide got exponentially worse in 2008 when Barack Obama came into office. I know there's people on the left that are going to say, oh, you're racist for saying that. No, I'm truthful for saying that. This is an observation. If Barack Obama wasn't such a commie rat bastard, I wouldn't have such bad things to say about him. But he specifically said that he wanted to fundamentally change the United States. That's not my words. That's literally his words. In 2008, I did not see the need to fundamentally transform the United States. He did. And you cannot tell me that things have not gotten remarkably worse since 2008. They have recognized, whether this is a Marxist thing, however you want to paint it, whether it's a global, a world initiative thing, whichever, keeping people divided and mad at each other is the easiest way to control them, because you get one side to take your side and then the other side is getting the other side to take their side, right? So the quickest and easiest way to control people is to divide people. And they recognized that and made a conscious effort to do that in 2008. I truly believe, whether it's Obama's fault or not, he was certainly either the one driving it or one of the puppets that they used to drive this. But it clearly started the shift and change when Barack Obama took office. There's no doubt about that. Let's move on to another text. Hey, Paul, my name is JJ from Michigan. I just saw your video on the Cincinnati fight, and it's horrible. I'm black, and there's no reason whatsoever to do a man, and especially the way the lady got sucker punched and knocked out. People need to be in jail for that. Amen, JJ. Man, I can tell you, first of all, people did get picked up for that. Now, I don't know if you guys saw, but just yesterday, I believe, sometimes the court system just baffles me. I want to have faith in it, but I don't. Because one of the people that got picked up for the sucker punching and the fighting and the beating of the people that were laying on the ground and kicking them in the head and all that, a lot of these people had $200,000, $500,000 bonds placed on them. They got reduced down to, I think, $2,400 yesterday. A couple of them did. You know why? Because one of the defendants, who was sucker punching, kicking, and beating a defenseless person, said that, well, January 6th was bad and this wasn't as bad. And the judge let that argument go and reduced the bond. So I guess anytime you go somewhere now, if you're on the left especially, just use the January 6th defense. Say that January 6th was a riot and compare that to your situation, and you might get a reduced bond. Really sad. Again, as you can see, the Cincinnati beatings really overwhelmed a lot of the messages and text messages and voicemails that I got back, because people were incensed by that, and rightfully so. I totally understand that. Finally, here's the last voicemail that I'm going to share with you.
Hey, Paul, I'm a big fan. My name is Guy David. You may or may not notice my name every now and then on your comment line. I have nothing racist at all. Greatly appreciate your videos. My number is, if you're ever to call that number, it'll probably go to voicemail because it doesn't recognize the number. If it's on this number, I'm going to put it in as a recognized number. I'm from Florida, the Florida Keys actually, although I'm up here in Palm Beach right now. Like I said, I'm a big fan. I greatly appreciate your videos, and interesting to interact with y'all. Okay, God bless.
And as you can see, he also had a text message in there too, which was pretty interesting, because I didn't realize this thing would allow you to leave a voicemail and then leave a text message also. So apparently it packages them together. So he's actually got a voicemail there about Vince Foster. But I know I kept it short today, but I wanted to, because I wanted you guys to see what my intentions were here. I intend to field questions, comments, again, whether they be voicemail, whether they be text messaging. I definitely feel like the vulgar voicemails and texticles is going to be a lot of fun. You pick up on that word, texticles, right? Don't forget, the number is going to be 202-869-2527. Again, 202-869-2527. I intend to do this once a week. I got hammered with feedback from you guys the first time. So with that being said, don't hesitate to send me anything. Send me whatever you want. I don't care what the topic is. If you're making a suggestion for a future video, that's fine too. I just want to open up that communication between all of us, because a lot of times when me delivering these videos, it's a one-way stream, even though you guys are very active in the comment section on YouTube, and I appreciate that. As you guys know, X, it's like the Wild Wild West out there, man. Very little gets censored compared to the other. I'm not saying there's no censorship, but very little gets censored compared to your other social media platforms out there. That's why I like to use it. Don't forget to enter the contest. Remember, I have 3 things that I'm going to give away. One is going to be the Legally Armed America baseball cap with the leather patch on it. The next is going to be one of the 30-round magazines from Mission First Tactical with my logo on it. And of course, finally, one of my hardcover books, Damn Liars. I will sign the inside of it, sent to you. By the way, if you're looking for a copy of Damn Liars, you can get paperback also. Save a little bit of money if you want to do that. Go to damnliars.net. It's available there. We shipped out a ton of books this past week. And obviously did a book signing last week in Knoxville at the Goals Convention. A lot of fun. Enjoyed meeting all of you guys out there. Those of you that I was able to meet, really appreciate that. Again, very flattering to me and humbling to be able to interact with you guys and see that you actually care about the content that I put out on a daily basis. So much, very much appreciate that. And again, that's why I'm opening up this phone line to you guys so that we can improve on and increase that a little bit of interaction a little bit, because it's a lot of fun to me. I enjoy meeting you guys and interacting. So this gives me a chance to actually get more and know you guys a little bit more. So very much appreciate it. Guys, please share the video if you don't mind. Tell your friends and family members, hey, send Paul a message, send him a voicemail. Let them be a part of this as well. Like, share the video if you don't mind. And always, please make sure you're subscribed and ring that bell if you don't mind. Talk to you guys soon.